What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. I know I took a little bit of time off. I do apologize about that, but that's not what we're here to talk about today. So we're here to talk about a stock that's been getting a lot of attention lately, especially this week. It's been moving up quite a bit, almost up 9% on the day, down just a little bit in the after hours. There's a good reason for all of that. Yes, if you haven't guessed it by now, we're talking about Fcel or FuelCell Energy. That's what we're going to be focusing on today, the FuelCell Energy stock. We're going to be talking about why it's going up, why all the hype around it. We're going to be talking about where I see it going in the near term and also in the long term. We're going to be talking about whether it's a buy right now. So we're going to get started right away, but before we do, all I ask is that you please go ahead and hit that like button, smash it for me, because it will allow the YouTube algorithm to share this video with others just like you. And of course, if you're new to the channel and you want to see videos just like this every single day, make sure you hit that subscribe button and tap that notification bell so you're notified every time I drop a video. And now, without any further ado, let's get into it. So let's start this off by talking a little bit about what FuelCell Energy actually is. So FuelCell Energy offers carbonate fuel cell products that generate electricity from natural gas or biogas. The company's fuel cells reform the input fuel inside the fuel cell itself to generate hydrogen, which then produces power through an electrochemical process, which is actually a much cleaner way to generate power than burning the fuel directly. And right now, FuelCell Energy targets stationary power generation markets, and that's what differentiates it from Plug Power, which primarily targets the transportation segment, including forklifts as well as hydrogen-powered vehicles. FuelCell Energy's customers include utilities as well as industrial and commercial customers, such as manufacturing facilities, processing facilities, universities, and healthcare facilities that are looking for clean power sources and want to reduce their dependence on the electric grid. But FuelCell Energy does both. It sells the power plants up front or enters into power purchase agreements to sell the power generated over an agreed term. But is FuelCell Energy really turning around? Here's one argument that you need to be aware of. So, in addition to the obvious competition from the electric grid, FuelCell Energy competes directly with other fuel cell manufacturers, such as Bloom Energy, in the distributed generation segment. And additionally, it competes with other technologies, such as micro turbines, in distributed generation. In larger projects, it competes with the gas turbines. Finally, it also competes with renewables generation. Though FuelCell has an advantage here in terms of reliability, it lags on the cost front. So the significant competition from traditional and renewable energy sources, as well as from other fuel cells and technologies such as turbines, explains why FuelCell Energy is kind of struggling to grow its top line. The company's offerings don't match the cost of alternative options available, so customers aren't very incentivized to switch to fuel cells. FuelCell Energy's revenue is on a downward trend and has been for the last few years. It reported 43% year-over-year revenue growth in the last quarter, but the company needs to prove that it can sustain this growth in the coming quarters. Though FuelCell Energy's losses narrowed compared to the year-ago quarter, it still reported a loss of $12 million on revenue of just $26.8 million. In addition to carbonate fuel cells, FuelCell Energy is developing hydrogen-powered solid oxide fuel cells and electrolyzers. This is still under development, and the extent to which FuelCell Energy becomes successful in this segment still remains to be seen. So, as you can imagine, there are significant risks here, and with risk comes volatility, so this is going to be a volatile stock. If you can't stomach volatility, this may not be the stock for you, but if you can stomach volatility, that is if you're not heavily marginized, and if you can stomach seeing your account going down after you've purchased shares of a stock, or if you're one of those that just buys stocks and doesn't look at them for, quite some time, this may be a decent investment for you, but never put all of your eggs in one basket. So here are some of the risks. FuelCell Energy has not generated annual profits in more than 2 decades. It has also not generated positive cash flow from operations during this period. In the absence of profits from operations, the company relies on funds generated through equity issuances to carry out its operations. Its outstanding shares have risen from less than 3 million to 360 million in just 5 years. That's a little out there. So obviously, that kind of dilution concerns investors, and especially when the raised funds aren't resulting in the company's growth. Okay, so now let's talk about why Fcel stock has been going up the way that it has been. Just 2 days ago, September 22nd, it went up over 11% on the day. Then today, almost 9%. What's going on? Well, it all has to do with an article that came out from Reuters on September the 22nd. This article, or this report from Reuters, revealed how some of the auto giants from across the world are looking beyond the battery electric vehicles and investing in hydrogen now, which appears to be pumping interest in hydrogen fuel cell stocks. So, according to Reuters, BMW is planning a mass-market hydrogen model by 2030 and has built a hydrogen car prototype based on its X5 SUV. BMW Vice President Jürgen Goldner also said that the company intends to build a test fleet of nearly 100 cars by 2022. Now let's talk about Volkswagen. The Audi brand told Reuters that it had already built some prototypes and has set up a team of more than 100 people to research hydrogen fuel cell technology for the entire Volkswagen group. Other than Volkswagen, we've also got Hyundai. So Hyundai Motor Group announced that they have ambitious hydrogen plans, which include electrifying all its commercial vehicles on hydrogen fuel cells by the year 2028 and testing the technology's use in drones and supercars. So these updates clearly prove that interest in hydrogen fuel cell technology has now gone well beyond just trucks to passenger cars. And this news is pretty much a testimony to the viability of the technology in securing a greener future. And we all know that when this happens, there's going to be more research and investments into the industry, which should bring down costs over time and make fuel cell technology even more attractive. So currently there are a few analysts covering Fcel, and there's a low price target of about $6 and a high price target of $8. So today's price isn't exactly what I would want to see. On top of that, we know that there's a lot of dilution here with this company, and there's going to be a lot more because the amount of money that the company's earning right now just isn't enough to sustain the actual business of the company, even though they have work for, let's say, the next 18 to 20 years, if what the company is telling us is true and correct. But for me, I wouldn't be buying at these price levels. I'd like to wait for either a market correction or maybe sell some puts to acquire some shares or add to my position. So that's kind of where I stand on it. If it goes below $6, I may add a little to my position. I started my position long ago. I'm still holding. So to me, and I've already taken some profit off the table. So to me, you know, I'm not in the same boat as a lot of you guys, especially if you've recently added or recently purchased the stock or are thinking about purchasing the stock. What is going on, guys? That's all I have for you in this video. I do appreciate you staying until the very end. You guys are some true OGs. Make sure you smash that thumbs up button if you haven't already before you leave. And also, if you're not subscribed, what are you waiting for? Make sure you subscribe. And now, if you're interested in watching any more of my content, I'm sure YouTube has some good content picked out for you on the left-hand side of your screen now.